Let's give it up for Mr. Bharat Panchal, the Chief Industry Relations and Regulatory Officer, India, Discover Financial Services. Can we have Mr. Panchal on stage with us? Mr. Panchal, the trend in 𝐒𝐲𝐻 is, as you know, one small innocent question waiting for your one small innocent answer. You mentioned in your bio a very, very, very interesting line that you are a risky monk. So we have to ask you, please answer in one line, what makes you a monk? So I have not.
I was not prepared to answer this, but when we look at our very great, rich history of Hindu Sanskriti, the monks are always, mark of trust. And risk is kind of synonymous to trust because when risk is identified, you are supposed to take it in a very positive way.
My God.
So that's the philosophy.
My God, does not sound like you've not come prepared. Now, question number 2, in one line. And what makes you a risky monk?
Thank you. Thank you. Did not ask me to dance like you guys, but yeah, that's what I am.
Sir, what makes you a risky monk? We understand a monk. What makes you a risky monk? In one line, sir.
Okay, so I think the roller coaster journey of last 1 decade at my previous organization, and when we started right from scratch, zero digitization in banking, and I was the chief of risk at NPCI for 9 years. So we have seen that while, yes, this country need complete paradigm shift in banking or the way we are doing banking, but how we connect India plus Bharat, I think that is where the large, attention or energy has gone, that how we can connect, how we can take 20% of India plus 80% of Bharat together and bring them in the main ecosystem. So that is what one of the key ingredients.
Lovely answer, Mr. Panchal. Stage is all yours, and we would request you, if there are any questions which you would want to take in from the audience members, we'd request you to kindly wind up 3 minutes earlier so that you can take in. Thank you, sir.
You are giving me 15 minutes, so I have to speak on 12 minutes. So good, you did my job easy, so need not introduce myself. So I'll straight jump on this key topic. So as I mentioned, I used to work with NPCI. Currently, I'm with the Discover Financial Services. But all views which I'm going to express are my own personal, nothing to do with this company or previous company or anywhere. So that's a disclaimer. But when we talk about the digital growth, and I was listening the previous panel very passionately about the growth of our country in last 1 decade. We have great time in last 2 decades, rather I would say, because the first decade of 21st century was the telecom revolution, where we are enjoying the Kalo Duniya Muthi Mein slogan is reality today. And the same time, the second decade was the banking revolution. Banking is at your doorstep. Everything is in your fingertips. And look at the kind of change which has happened in last few years, be it demonetization or the pandemic period. Both event has really supported us as a society to adapt technology as much as possible. But in all this journey, unknowingly, we have become one of the, or rather, richest country in the world in terms of data, because we are generating so much of digital footprint in everyday's life. That gives a lot of data, and that is what is the concern as well, because all you are knowing about UPI is a great journey. 5.5 billion clocked till 31st of May. Great journey. We believe, and rather, that's the dream what we thought when we were making UPI, that one day we'll reach to 1 billion transactions a day. I don't think so that day is too far. It is very near. Look at Prime Minister Modi has just spent, given 2 lakh crore rupees in accounts yesterday, just in seamless transaction. But that churning is bringing a lot of data, lot of massive data for all of us. But when we are talking about data and data privacy or data protection, again, I would like to take you back into history, because when we are talking about the colonization era, one of the important colonization happened in our great history about military colonization. We have seen how British came here in India. Their objective was not to rule India as when they came here. It was just to make a trade. They came for trade, and rest is history, which we all are aware about this. So not only India, but the British colonization was everywhere, because it was in a pursuit to assert that the supremacy of the imperial power rests on rest of the world. And that the history. Now the second colonization happened about the energy. Few decades ago, the Gulf countries, those were considered to be as equal as what Eastern African countries, what we are counting today. But they have suddenly found oil, and oil become the main necessity or source of energy for all of us. And they really used it. They used that as a strength or a power to rule on the country, because rule on the world, because the oil was necessary. So that has become another colonization. Why I'm bringing this colonization part here? Because there is a third colonization which we are worried about, and that is going to be data colonization. There is an old say, and still it is true in some part of the desert in Gulf countries, that whosoever possesses more camel, he will be the king of that desert. And if we change that definition today, whosoever possesses more data, they control everything. Look at the business model came. Look at the kind of business conglomerate have started collecting data. I don't want to talk about the Google of the world or Amazon or so like, but every now and then there is a data colonization happening worldwide. And India is not left, because we are like in cybersecurity world. How's a good neighbor you have? Unfortunately, we have bad neighbors both the side. And we are always on the verge of monitoring that how bad traffic is coming from China or Pakistan. Something similar, attack are happening about the data space of country as well. And that is why I believe that, this will come as a long way. Coming back to the reference of data here in India, again, I like, you guys recited the great poem of great Shivaji Maharaj, that identity was something what he brought. Data privacy and data protection is not something which we have learned from few decades from the Western world. It was way back, I mean, in Puranas and Upanishads, and there was Hitopadesh. Hitopadesh is one of the very famous, religious, book or kind of saga, which says about certain matter in relation of the worship, the wealth, the family, the sex, the whole important parameter of your life need not to be disclosed in any matter. That is something which was said 15, 20, I don't know how many years ago. So, where we are coming from that society, and here, in today's time, when I'm talking about the privacy, how literally we are taking privacy in a very casual manner. I'm a Gujarati, and many of you might be Gujarati. Especially, we take a pride about our community that we are very, very open. We love to talk. You take a train from Borivali and you go to Ahmedabad, the next guy sitting to you, he'll get to know much about you because you're so much talkative. Khakra thepla, yes, giving khakra thepla and giving so much of knowledge to him. Why? Is it necessary? Is it a need? But we are a society. We are a society to want to live in inclusiveness. Whereas, in certain part of the world, that is not the story. Now, that is one example. Coming to next example, Mumbai's Dabbawala. We all have heard a lot about Mumbai's Dabbawala, and we as a Mumbaikar, we take pride about that. They are one of the great kind of people or management gurus. The world has taken lesson from them. But have you ever thought of that? What that X and 0 on that dabba? That is a protection. That is a data privacy. That is a data protection they have implemented. We never thought of that. That okay, even if my dabba is there, by that, it is just impossible for me to identify it is by because the coding and the kind of the algorithm what they have implemented, it is known to them only, right? Am I telling something wrong? No, exactly. We have seen this, but that is the way they have protected data. On a contrary, I'm sure many of you must have gone to drop your wife at beauty parlor. I have gone many times. What I have noticed there, sorry ma'am, nothing to do against any ladies, but what is happening? There is a good visitor book. Everything is written there. Your taste, which one you like, L'Oreal or something else brand, you have given all your feedback. You have given your name, you have given your contact number, you have given your address, you have given your email ID, what not. Not only with the beauty parlor, but you go to any such shop where visitor book is there, we are happy, and people are with so much of excitement give, oh, I'm so much happy, or kind of fabulous service you people are providing, this and that, or bad word, whatever. But we are so much happy to give all this information, and you are out, somebody else come, he takes that information, and needless to mention how they misuse that information. So that's the example. But when it come to the problem with this kind of complexity or kind of behavior, I would say. How privacy is very important to our core. I think that's a very debatable question in today's time. How we are taking privacy so seriously. Because when it comes to privacy, or rather, as an Indian psychological habit, we always try to look at the world, and that too at the Western world, because we have that inferiority complex, that what great things are happening in that part of the world are best suited for us, isn't it? And therefore, because the Make in India is kind of a great movement, but I think it is late. It's not too late, but generally we believe that we look at the world the other side. Now, if we do that, let me give an example. The American society, they want to live in this scattered manner. They have houses, big houses, but it is their own empire, and they do not allow somebody else to come and see. And can we live in that society? We cannot. Because our lifestyle, our principle, our belief are completely different. We want to be inclusive in nature. We want to be, associated with more and more people, be it work, be it at office, be it at home, anywhere, right? Now, let me bring an analogy of their relevance of standard in Indian context. I'm sure many of you have heard about HIPAA, that the Health Data Protection Act in USA. Privacy of medical history is something paramount for an individual. If you breach that, then you please be prepared for something serious litigation against the company. In India, on the contrary, the guy who is sadly diagnosed with a cancer or some serious disease, except he, entire village knows that this guy has cancer. Because why we are not telling that guy? Because, oh my God, he will be shocked. That is completely different, right? That environment is different. How can you copy those kind of standard and try to impose in the society which is completely different? Why are we waiting for, why can't we do something on our own, which is what is more important and more logical about our own society? I think that is one of the important point. I thought it is very, pertinent in time, because see, when it comes to data, today's economy, world economy is data-driven economy, and with be it external trade or internal trade, your data analytics is very, very crucial, and therefore, that feeding data to those kind of analytics is a key. And in that case, if we have very loosely connected data governance in our country or in our business or wherever we are, it's going to be very difficult for longer period. Now, why I'm saying that data governance is needed? I don't want to go into the proposed PDP and so many talk going on around the bill. But again, I want to touch the ground reality. you know, how people are being threatened. That, hey, you give your mobile number, otherwise we may not be able to give an exchange of clothes which you purchase. Is it a right trap? It is a trap, right? Because they are being told that, okay, you have to give this data, is a compulsion. There is no such compulsion. Why are we not getting away from that? Okay, now look at the very recent incident happened a week ago. Not even a week ago, UIDAI came out with one notification that you should not give that photocopy of Aadhaar. And again backtrack, and that is what is creating confusion. There is no clarity, utter ambiguity across the system, and that is why I believe that data governance is very, very important. Last, but very important, the data breaches. We haven't heard a single penal action or rather any legal action against all so-called great data breach happen. You take JustPay, you take Uptalk, you take Air India, you take Domino's. My own data were there. I'm helpless, I can't do anything. And they have, look at the guts they have. They did not even come and clarify the stand yet. Yes, there was some system issue and no action, nothing is there. How long we are going to live in this kind of society? How long we are going to, rely on such a, shabby or kind of lax environment where you're putting your data? And that is why, I think the data protection law which is coming is very, very pertinent. And, I believe the data localization, of course, has made a lot of impact in overall business, world, countrywide. But it is again limited to banking. Data localization has not given complete assurance to you as an individual, because the data what banks are trying to protect, there is no guarantee that the insurance company is going to protect the same way, or for that matter, telecom company. So I think there is a synergy is completely missing in current time, which will definitely going to help with the proposed data privacy bill. I believe, just to summarize my talk, apart from law and kind of technology and all these things, there are two major things, I think, which are very, very important. One, however good law you may make, unless you have a compliance system and religious compliance system in place, all law are just on piece of paper, not going to be followed. So while PDP, as and when it comes, data privacy will come in as an act, we need to really respect that law and put great compliance framework around it. Second, apart from technology and law, the very important, the human psychology. Three things, be it cybersecurity, be it any other thing, or privacy breach or anything. Three things are driving all this issue. One is greed, because people are so greedy, they just want to give their data or everything in the want of getting some benefit. Second is a threat, when you threat them that your account is going to be blocked, your mobile is going to be blocked, then you are giving up. And last is ignorance. I think we need to really work on these three parameters along with the so-called law, compliance framework, and the human psychology. So that's my thought. I believe I have crossed 2 minutes more, but thank you very much for patiently listening.